Hi everybody, welcome back to the Belt and Bond. It's Michelle here, and today's video is going to be the first video in a new series that we're doing about BJ and I and our TTC journey. And if you don't know what that is our trying to conceive journey. I have notes on my iPad, so I'm going to be looking down. But if you don't know, BJ and I have a 3-year-old son, 3.5, named Scotland, and we would love to expand and grow our family and have more children. And we get asked all the time, like, when are you guys going to have a little girl? When's the next baby coming? Well, ma'am, sir, if we knew, we would tell you, but we don't know, and we are trying, and we are praying, and we are faithful and hoping that it does happen. But I just wanted to share, I guess, some recent things that have happened in our lives with us trying to conceive. I was sharing everything with my mom, and she was like, you know, people don't talk about this often, and because I've researched it, I've seen some videos on here talking about it on YouTube, but I just wanted to share my story, and this is the beginning, I guess, of us trying to conceive. So I want to give you a little bit of the backstory. When BJ and I did get married, I was on birth control, but whatever kind that was given to me, it was horrible as far as my hormones. I was emotional. It was just not good. So BJ was like, I don't want life with my wife to be like this. So I got off birth control, and I actually have not been on birth control since 2014, very early, or like mid 2014. We got married in August, but we weren't really trying to have children, but it just wasn't really happening. And I had noticed some things in my body that were kind of causing some concern. So I made an appointment with my doctor and was like, you know, hey, I don't know what's going on. Now, I wasn't like taking my temperature. We weren't doing ovulation kits, but I just felt like something was going on. So I was like, you know, is there any testing that we can do to make sure that my body is good, to make sure that I can have children? And I had made an appointment to get some blood tests done. And within the weeks and months of waiting to actually go to that appointment, I ended up getting pregnant with Scotland. So I had to call my doctor's office and say, hey, I need to cancel that appointment for testing because I have a positive pregnancy test. Now, I know how people get pregnant. I know what has to be done to get pregnant, but I promise you, I don't know how Scotland got here. Like, I was in denial really when I was thinking I was pregnant, because I had some pregnancy symptoms, but because my cycles aren't regular, what ended up being implantation bleeding, I thought was a cycle, but I had different symptoms. So my grandmama, my sister was like, girl, just take a test. And I did. And by that time I was already 9 weeks. When I went to the doctor to confirm it, it was already 11 weeks. So I had already kind of missed my first trimester. But when I thought something was going wrong, I actually got pregnant. So I had Scotland, breastfed him, and my cycle came back, I guess, around October of 2017, when he wasn't necessarily breastfeeding so often. And when it did come back, it wasn't regular. Now, my cycle hadn't ever been really regular to begin with, but it would come, it would go, it would stay for a couple of days. 1 month is really, really heavy. The next month is like super, super light, almost nothing. And in the midst of that, especially now that we're trying to have a child, like recently my cycle was like 15 days late, and I'm like, yes, God, I'm pregnant. I'm waiting to the last minute to take a test just because I want to be sure. And then I get like negative pregnancy test and still no cycle because it's just super late. So I've been getting my hopes up, you know, that I could be pregnant, but it's just my cycle isn't regular. It doesn't follow a certain amount of days cycle like, you know, most people do. So my sister and I have been having this conversation. She was like, you know what, Michelle, you might have PCOS. And if you don't know what that stands for, it's polycystic ovarian syndrome. And from what I've learned, every person with cysts on their ovaries does not have PCOS. And you can have PCOS but not have cyst on your ovaries. And the test that was done for me was the insulin resistance test. So I'm going to kind of give you some of the symptoms and everything of PCOS and what insulin resistance means. And then I'm going to insert footage from my doctor's appointment when I went and kind of had this stuff done. So for PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, I'd heard of it for years. And like I said, my sister had not been like trying to force it on me, but she was like, Michelle, you have a lot of these symptoms. Like, it just could be possible that you have this. And honestly, after I went to the doctor, I was happy to know that there's a reason as to why this was going on with my body. Because at first I'm like, Lord, what is happening? You blessed me to have one child. I know if you've done it before, you can do it again. But this has really been like a faith walk, because I know God's going to bless me with a child, but I just know that this is something that I have to go through. And another reason I wanted to share my story is because I wanted to help others. I want to be a witness to others in this situation. So let me just give you some of the symptoms of PCOS. First of all, it cannot be cured, but it can be treated. Some of the symptoms are irregular cycles. I have that. Excess hair growth, and I hate to mention it, but it's like facial hair, just like you're a little hairy, but I make sure I take care of it where it needs to be taken care of. Acne is one, and during this quarantine, my acne has been acting up so bad. That's another reason why I made another doctor's appointment, just to go check everything out, because my acne had been horrible. Okay. And also weight gain, and you can gain weight and it's very, very hard to get that weight off. And from what I researched, PCOS can affect over 200,000 women per year. So people are getting diagnosed with it. So you may have heard a lot about it, or you may not have, but it's not uncommon for women to have this. But the reason it kind of struck me by surprise is my mom, she has 3 children, okay? Never had PCOS, none of these symptoms or anything, and just got pregnant easily. The same for my sister. I call her Fertile Myrtle because she has 4 children. I'm like, well, dang, could you have left some fertility for me? She has 4 children, no problem having kids or anything. So with me having PCOS, it just kind of came as a shock. But PCOS is kind of what I've been focusing on, because that's the thing that is kind of making it difficult for Bobby and I to have another child. But the bigger issue is the insulin resistance. So when I got diagnosed with PCOS, my doctor didn't look at my ovaries. She didn't do like any kind of exam like that. She tested my blood for insulin, because insulin, if you're insulin resistant, you usually do have PCOS. So with insulin resistance, I'm going to kind of read what it says. Your blood sugar is normal, but your insulin is high. So it's saying that the pancreas is making too much insulin, and it generates inflammation in your body, which causes the weight gain. And it can also cause diabetes. So PCOS, if you have insulin resistant PCOS, it can make your numbers put you in the range of being pre-diabetic, which diabetes does run in my family as well. And high insulin can impair ovulation, which goes along with having, not normal cycles. And then it can also make excess testosterone, which is male hormones, which can cause like the hair growth and all that stuff. And this is very uncomfortable for me to talk about. It's very difficult to share it, because I really do want another child. And, finding this out is good to know, like I said, that there's a reason that this is going on with my body. So it just makes me aware of kind of what I have to do for myself. So when I found out, first my doctor told me that I was insulin resistant, but then I didn't connect the two with PCOS. So when I went back, I actually went back to kind of talk to her about it some more, and she was just like, it does cause PCOS and things like that. But I want to insert clips of the footage of when I went to the doctor recently, and then we're going to come back and talk about the treatment plan. So I don't know how consistent I'll be with this, but BJ and I are on a TTC journey. And if you don't know what that is a trying to conceive journey. We have one son, Scotland, and we definitely want another child. So this morning I'm at my OBGYN just to check on everything once again. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of the medicine metformin, but she put me on that to help to regulate my cycles. And because I was insulin resistant, and that's supposed to help with that, but the side effects are not pleasant. So I stopped taking it momentarily, but then of course, the issues with my cycle returned. So I started back taking it. I'm going to try and do it consistently, but I do want to talk to her about the side effects, and then I do want to ask her if she thinks I may have PCOS. I do display some of the symptoms, but I've never been officially diagnosed with it. But I just want to know the reason and the cause to what's going on, and what I can do to get our second child. So my appointment is at 8:30. It is 8:14. I'm going to get out of the car at 8:15 to go inside. And I text my husband, because as soon as I pulled up into the parking lot, I just got nervous. And of course, like, we prayed and everything this morning, but I don't know. So we'll see what happens. So I'm currently just waiting for the doctor. I've talked to the nurse. So now I just have to talk to the doctor. I'm not getting, like, examined or anything today. Just a conversation. And I think I'm going to get some blood work done. Okay, so let me fill you guys in. I just came from my appointment. Stopped and got me some Starbucks. I got me a chai tea latte and a cheese Danish warmed up because I didn't eat breakfast before. And I have to take my metformin, which I'm going to be consistent on. And it was a really good appointment. I just told her about my concerns with the side effects. And then I asked her, because I have a lot of the symptoms for PCOS, and she said that she would say that I do have PCOS because of me being insulin resistant, and that kind of goes hand in hand. I said, well, is there like an official test? And she said, you know, we can look at your ovaries, but there are women who have ovarian cysts but don't have PCOS. So she said the insulin resistance is usually like a telltale sign of PCOS. So I'm not claiming that. I'm not like speaking that over my life, but it's good to like know that there's like a medical reason of what's going on. And so I got some more blood work done just to see if the couple of months that I've been on metformin, even though it was kind of on and off, if they kind of got my hormones where they needed to be. And then BJ has to take a little trip to the doctor as well, just to analyze everything and make sure he's okay. But I really think he is, because of course, like, we had Scotland, and I'm the one that's, you know, showing symptoms of just things not being regular. So he's gonna get that done, and then we'll see. She said if we need to do if the metformin is working, or if we need to do like some Clomid or something like that. I'm like, yes, put me on the Clomid, hun. Yes, let me have some twins. Like, just put me on it. Let's go. But either way, this is all in God's hands. I know that he's going to bless us with another child. And, you know, this is just something that I have to go through for him to get the glory of, and for me to be able to share this testimony with other women as well, or families that are seeking to have other children. So I really feel optimistic and positive after leaving this appointment. Like, I don't feel that anxiety or nervousness. I just feel, I guess, more free, because I know, like, okay, I've always thought that I could possibly have PCOS because of all of the symptoms that I display, but to now have a doctor say, okay, yes, this is what it is, but this is what can be done. And she was like, it doesn't mean that you can't have children. I said, oh, I know. I'm not claiming that at all. So it was a really good appointment. Like I said, I feel happy and positive and optimistic about everything. And now we're just on our hashtag TTC journey, trying to conceive. So here we go. Okay, so you saw those clips of everything, me being at the doctor's office, and that was during this whole quarantine and stuff. I think that was early May. I think I had that appointment, or it could have been April. I don't remember. But anyway, so the first step in my treatment plan is a medicine called metformin. And I'll probably do, I don't know if I'm going to do a separate video on that, or I may kind of log my experience with metformin. But let me tell you, metformin is no joke. So I am on, I want to say 1,600 milligrams a day, because I take 2 pills a day, and I think they're 800 milligrams each. So I take one in the morning and I take one in the evening. And with metformin, you have to take it with food, because the symptoms are not good, okay? It's not all pretty. So the symptoms are nausea, okay? Diarrhea. I'm just going to say that. Diarrhea. I'm not going to go into the details of what I have experienced, but nausea, diarrhea, like upset stomach, and just like a general uncomfortableness. Like sometimes I feel like I have to throw up. It's almost like morning sickness. And then like your stomach can be so nauseated and in so much pain. So the doctor did warn me that the side effects of the medicine are not good, but that's why they advise you to take it with food, preferably a heavy meal, so that, you know, it coats your stomach and it's not so bad. But I am taking metformin twice a day, every day. Also, since insulin resistance has to do with sugar in your diet. In my diet, I am trying to decrease my sugar and decrease my carbs, because carbs turn into sugar once in your body, and increase my protein. So my doctor didn't say this, but I know and have seen so many women do a strict keto diet and they get pregnant, or, you know, different things with your nutrients. So it is a lot about what you put into your diet as well. I talked to a friend of mine that also has PCOS, and she mentioned eating a lot of cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower and good greens and stuff like that. So diet is definitely important. Also, a part of my treatment plan is exercise. If you follow me on Instagram at The Belton Beauty, you'll see that I work out with Effect Fitness during the week and on weekends as well. They do like high intensity workouts with weights and resistance bands and things. So I do those to get my exercise up. And look, I have a 3-year-old, so I'm exercising all the time, running behind him, you know, running when he rides his bike and things like that. Something that my doctor did also mention, since we've done testing with me, in order to move forward with my treatment plan, she did suggest that BJ get a semen analysis, which he hasn't done yet, because like I said, this isn't anything that really people talk about. And before me, he had never heard of PCOS, he had never heard of insulin resistance, and he had never heard of anybody going to go get a semen analysis. So I was like, babe, I think it's going to be okay. I am like 100% sure that they won't find anything with you, but that it's just the PCOS and the insulin resistance going on with me. So the next thing my doctor said is that she wants to try a round of Femera, which is another medicine. So what happens is you get Femera and you take it on days 5 through 9 of your cycle. And then once you do that, on day 23 of your cycle, you have to make an appointment to go into the doctor to get testing. And I think what Femera does is like stimulates ovulation, and they're able to kind of check your ovulation levels to see if the metformin is doing what it's supposed to be doing and how all of your hormones and different levels are, you know, leveling out. And the last thing my doctor said, which is kind of crazy that I'm kind of happy about it, but I've heard of this, is she said she could refer me to a specialist who may recommend Clomid. Now, if you know anything about Clomid, and this is like if BJ screening comes back clear, which I'm sure it will be, and we haven't gotten pregnant since then, Clomid really helps to stimulate ovulation and producing a lot of eggs. And what can happen on Clomid is that a lot of people have multiple. So I'm like, Lord, if you want to bless me with twins in this way, then I will take it. But Clomid would be kind of like the next step and the last thing after we've tried everything else. So I guess kind of in summary, I'm not upset about having PCOS. I'm glad to know that there's a reason why my body has been doing things that weren't regular. So I'm glad to know why. I'm not going to wear it as like a badge of honor, like, hey, yeah, I have PCOS. Like, I'm not claiming that. I'm claiming that like God can heal me from this, that God's going to make a way, even though I do have PCOS, to allow BJ and I to have another child. And he's just doing it in his own way, in his good and perfect time. I mean, I've always said I didn't want 2 children in daycare at the same time, you know. Scotland's not in daycare right now due to Corona, but, you know, I didn't want to have to pay for that at the same time. So I'm just really trying to look at this to be an inspiration to other people who may have PCOS and, you know, just need to know that somebody else is going through it with you, that there's treatment, and that you can still, you know, be happy and hopeful and prayerful and believing that God is still going to bless you with your child that you may be wanting. And some people have PCOS and don't have children. There could be people like me, and I'm not sure if it's because of my age, not that I'm old, but I was 29 when I had Scotland. So, I mean, I don't know if just within those 3 years, you know, different things have changed with my body to make PCOS kind of be more prominent. But, you know, like I said, I'm still believing that he's going to bless Bobby and I with another child or 2 or however many more God sees us having. And I just wanted to create these videos as a space to share, since we are trying to conceive. I do have ovulation tests now that I'll probably start to use when we're like really, really ready to try. Because a part of me is like, am I really, really ready to try right now? Like, I want a child, but then, you know, that's an adjustment too. Scotland's had 3.5 years of just BJ and I to ourselves. So it will be an adjustment, but I definitely know that we do want another child, and we just want, you know, God's will for our life to be done. And if he has placed that as a desire in our hearts, then, you know, we're hoping and believing and asking you guys to pray with us and for us that he will bless us with a child. So if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. If you want to just send me some encouragement, you can definitely do that in the comments below, because I can definitely use it, because every day is not easy, especially when you see things going on with your body that you don't like and that you know can have an effect on you having a child. It's not very easy. And there are moments where I break down and cry, because it's just like, you know, it's a lot when you really, really want something. So with that being said, I do just want to say a word of prayer for myself and for any other woman, whether she has PCOS or not, but any other woman wanting a child. So I do want to pray for that. And then that'll be the end of this video. So let's pray. God, I thank you for this opportunity and this platform to share, oh God. You are the creator, and you have made everything. You have made us in your image and in your likeness, oh God. And we just thank you and we love you, oh God. Right now, I pray for myself and any other woman who is struggling with PCOS, struggling with being infertile, oh God, or struggling with trying to conceive. Lord, you have placed those desires in our hearts to want to have children, oh God. And if we keep our mind stayed on you, you will give us the desires of our heart if we take delight in you, oh God. So I just pray for strength and encouragement, for patience, oh God. I just pray that you regulate our bodies so that they do what they are supposed to do naturally, so that we can have children and bring glory to your name, oh God. I thank you for everyone who is hearing this and everyone who will be positively affected by this video. In your son Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you stay tuned on our TTC journey, trying to conceive. So if you see that on any of my hashtags, that's what that means. Hashtag TTC, we're trying to conceive. But be sure to like us on Facebook at The Belton Bond. Follow us on Instagram at The Belton Bond. I'm at The Belton Beauty, and my husband is at Bobby Lee. He's Bobby Belton Jr. on Instagram. And yeah, I'm starting a blog. It's going to be www.thebeltonbond.com. It's up, but it's not finished. But I am going to be posting about our TTC journey on there as well. So just hoping that you guys will support us. We thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, and we will see you next time. Remember to be bold, be blessed, and be bonded.